right, good evening. The time is 5:01. We'll go ahead and call this work session to order. Our first item of business is employee recognitions. Fire Lieutenants Bryson O'Neill and Carson Dowell and firefighter Christopher Simmons. Chief Seiler.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight to introduce to you our newest full-time firefighter. His name's Chris Simmons. He is a Marine who served and did 2 deployments overseas. He's been a firefighter and paramedic for about 7 years. He started his career in Gwinnett County in Georgia, working in fire and EMS. He's also worked as a paramedic at a level 2 trauma center that was in Florida.
Yes,
In Florida. And loves his job, being able to help people when they need it the most. And in his free time, he enjoys cooking, long walks on the beach, hiking, sunrises, and sunsets. So I don't have a problem with that. So firefighter Chris Simmons, he's our newest firefighter.
No long walks on the beach here, I'm sorry.
Not unless you go to Chester
Chester
Park.
Cross, that's true. You can go to Chester.
All right, now we're gonna do our promotion. So we've had 3 open positions since about November of last year. And so Chris is one of them. And then we've had a couple of lieutenant's positions, and so they were filled internally. So our first one is firefighter Carson Dowell, who was promoted. His journey in the fire service began in 2020 in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he learned what it truly means to serve a community. Following that initial experience, he is fortunate to join our team here in Red Bank, where he spent the last 3 years learning from his peers and working hard to protect our small little community. He's incredibly grateful to his crew and leadership for their guidance, which recently culminated in his promotion to the rank of lieutenant back in July. This new role is a responsibility that he does not take lightly, and he is eager to continue giving his best to the department and our residents every day. Off duty, his greatest blessing is his wife, family, and he is lucky. He's a lucky husband to a beautiful wife and a father to 2 beautiful children. And he says they are his biggest support system and the reason I'm motivated to return home safely every shift. I present Lieutenant Carson Dowell. The fire chief, having placed special trust and confidence in the professional excellence and leadership abilities of Carson Dowell, having demonstrated these qualities in his capacity for greater responsibility and service, does hereby promote him to the rank of lieutenant, empowered with all the authority and charge with all the duties commensurate with his rank, effective this day, in the city of Red Bank, July the 15th, 2026. Congratulations, Lieutenant Dowell. And most important, the badge and the collar brag.
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And
Well,
it looks
thank
like
you.
And Lieutenant O'Neill could not be here.
That's correct. This is his scheduled time off, and he was trying to get back from a getaway with his short getaway with his wife. But I do have his bio if y'all would like for me to read it.
Sure.
He began his fire service career with the city of Chattanooga in 2022, where he completed the academy and proudly served Chattanooga for 3.5 years. In 2025, he joined Red Bank as a full-time firefighter DPO, where he continued serving the citizens of Red Bank while completing advanced training and leadership courses in preparation for becoming a company officer. Obviously, it worked because he was promoted. He resides in Saudi Arabia with his wife Morgan and their 2 dogs, Murphy and Franklin. In their free time, they enjoy hiking with their dogs, kayaking, and spending time with their loved ones. He is honored to have earned this promotion and looks forward to continuing to serve the Red Bank community with integrity, professionalism, and dedication in his new leadership role. So we're grateful to have him. I have a plaque for him, but he's not here. So I'll give it to him tomorrow. He's actually here tomorrow.
Congratulations, Lieutenant O'Neill. All right, moving on to item 2, annual commission ethics training. Mr. Branham, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Okay, well, we'll dispense with the slides. We have some slides, but frankly, honestly, we don't need them if we don't pull them up. I will orient briefly to what is in the packet. Series of PowerPoint slides, and also the Code of Ethics, which is from Title I, Chapter 3 of our municipal code, and it also mirrors exactly state statute Code of Ethics.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So those are in our work session packet, and I'll just quickly go through my slides. What are considered ethics? Well, according to Merriam-Webster, they are the principles of conduct governing an individual or a group. What it is, it's all about building and maintaining the public trust. Doing the right thing, if you will. Guiding decisions with integrity and accountability within an ethical framework. There's a lot of discretionary judgment in the things that we do, and an ethical framework allows us to make those discretionary decisions ethically. It's often associated with professional or industry organizations, but it isn't. Personal preference or convenience, we are advised to use an established code of ethics as a guide, and that is exactly what is found in our municipal code. It is not doing what everyone else does. That does not make it ethical. And sometimes just doing what's legal is still ethically falls short. So we'll get into that. I have some interesting examples as we work over through this. And commissioners, this annual training is a best practice for commissions. Staff earlier today, the city leadership team took this opportunity to conduct our own ethics training. We reviewed these materials, and then we went around the room. Each director represents an ecosystem of professional endeavors, and each director brought forth something that was unique to their ethical code. We heard from police, we heard from fire, we heard from HR, we heard from finance, we heard from building official. And you put all those different code of ethics together and have a conversation. It turns out to be a very rich, fascinating conversation about ethical behavior in the public sector. Briefly, I am a member of the International City Managers Association, and I have the code of ethics here if anybody's interested. It's 12 tenets, 7 pages, adopted in 1924, so it's 100 years old. It's periodically updated in 2025. They changed a few things. I have it framed on my office, and that's a picture of the wall in my office. And one of the examples I wanted to get to really to flesh out this concept of ethics is found in tenet 2, which is kind of wordy. It reads, affirm the dignity and worth of services rendered by government and maintain a constructive, creative, and practical attitude towards local government affairs and a deep sense of social responsibility as a trusted public servant. So behind each tenet is a series of guidelines that really flesh out what that means. So here's what that really means in a practical sense regarding advice to officials of other local governments, for me as city manager. When members, i.e. me, advise and respond to inquiries from other elected or appointed officials of other local governments, they should inform the administrators of those communities. And I have an interesting example that really fleshes out this concept of ethics. When Judge Houston was initially unable to attend, we had a series of visiting judges come in and sit and preside over our municipal court. They were all elected officials from other jurisdictions. One from another neighboring small city here in Hamilton County, and I came over and spoke to each of them, gave them a city manager coin, told them thank you. And some of those conversations were pretty rich. One of the judges, beyond just hello and thank you, we got into a pretty substantive discussion about court security and how we handle it here and how it was handled at their jurisdiction. And I realized that crossed an ethical line. So as soon as I left this meeting, it was a productive, helpful, and joyful conversation with the judge from another municipality. And I went back and called my counterpart at the other city, and we had a wonderful conversation. And for her part, she was really glad. She really appreciated the things that I said, and was kind of validated by the same concepts that we were both talking about. But so it went from productive, helpful, and joyful to then being an ethical conversation, because I followed up and shared that with my counterpart in this other city. So it really gets to the nuances of behaving ethically in the positions that we hold in the public sector. So now we're getting into what is actually in our municipal code. It is Title I, Chapter 3, Code of Ethics. It's a baseline level of ethics that's codified as a law for us here in City of Red Bank. It applies to all officials and employees, includes boards, commissions, committees, any instrumentality that's appointed or created by the municipality is governed by this code of ethics. It covers full-time, part-time, elected or appointed, compensated or unpaid, boards, commissions, committees, applies to all municipal entities. And if this sounds redundant, it is. They're really hammering it home. It's basically everybody who has an official role with the city. Personal interest. This is a key concept here. There's really two things that are big concepts that emerge. It is financial interest and disclosure. And if you have two takeaways from this conversation of ethics, it's those two things, those two themes of personal financial interest and then disclosing that personal financial interest. The personal financial interest really revolves around, well, first of all, it defines your family. It's spouse, parent, step-parent, grandparent, sibling, children, stepchildren. Employment interest includes negotiation for possible employment, a financial stake, an ownership stake, or an employment stake. And it says for voting, you must disclose personal interest before voting. Disclosure must appear in meeting minutes, and this is where our city recorder can have a role here. If a commissioner makes a disclosure, the city recorder will be careful to note that. Officials may choose to recuse themselves, but often aren't actually required to. The disclosure piece is the key piece. We have had instances where commissioners have felt it was appropriate to recuse themselves, and so that's really at their call. But the ethical requirements to meet ethical standards would be simply to disclose. I have this relationship, and I want everybody to understand that.
All newly elected officials do submit a statement of disclosure of interest when they are elected. They go straight to the Tennessee Commission, Ethics Commission.
Okay.
So they're like,
And then we have to file it annually, actually, after that.
Okay.
Yes. So that's on file.
Anything else you would add on?
No, I was agreeing with that we have a state ethics commission and they keep tabs of lots of different stuff.
Okay.
And everybody in an official position supposedly gets a mailer or an email every year from the directly from the ethics commission. And it says you will disclose this. It's quite detailed.
Okay. So I would say if anybody on the dais isn't getting that, let them all know. We'll connect those dots behind the scenes to make sure that that process is appropriately playing out. Frankly, I didn't realize that was happening, so I'm learning myself. Disclose interest before exercising discretion. Our municipal code speaks to a city recorder having a specific form. I'm unfamiliar with that form. I don't know that it's ever been used. But speaking to Tracy, we'll create something and document it, put it in the minutes. So the absence of a known form really doesn't preclude us from meeting the requirements of this.
we historically just have the commissioner abstain from the vote and walk. And that's the minutes.
Gratuities may not accept gifts or favors from anyone other than the municipality if it's intended to influence or reward action or refraining from action. So I think the intent here is to not, if somebody wants to buy you a cup of coffee and have to sit down and have a conversation, that's okay. But if somebody's saying, if you do this, I'll get you dinner, then that's wrong. Use of information may not disclose confidential information obtained in official capacity. This is where the building officials code of ethics was very insightful, because the building official inherently has an understanding of future actions. And so there's an ethical responsibility to treat that information, that over the horizon look, confidentially, and not use that for your personal financial gain. And we are blessed to have an extremely ethical building official on our staff who kind of personifies that sort of ethical behavior. Cannot use municipal time, facilities, equipment, or supplies for personal gain. Pretty straightforward. Cannot make private purchases in a municipality's name. We buy a lot of vehicles off state contracts. You can't buy your own personal vehicle off our state contract, just as an example of what that might look like. Outside employment cannot interfere with municipal duties. Ethics complaints. Arnold A. Stoltz Jr. is our official ethics officer, and he is on record at the state. I'm not sure what office actually carries that. Do you know, Arnold?
I do not.
Okay.
All I know is that I've been that for a long time and am very inexperienced because I've never had a true problem or issue from the city of Red Bank that has been funded. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm proud of you and your predecessors.
Yes, yes.
I'm ready.
The reasonable person, this was a throwback for me from when I was in college a few years ago. The reasonable person is the standard. The interpretation that a reasonable person in the circumstances would apply shall be used in interpreting and enforcing this code of ethics. Ortman, when I was in law overview as a freshman in college, I was introduced to the concept of the ordinary, reasonable, prudent man. Ortman is what my law professor taught me. Ultimately, this body wrestles with ethical issues that arise within the body. So, and that's in accordance with their charter. So the group, but as Arnold says, not only has this group never had it, but prior commissions have never had it either. We are a good municipality in terms of ethical behavior, and that's in our DNA. And Mr. Schultz, anything you would add by closing comments?
Yeah, I would add that that there's not an awful lot about this ethics that your mother didn't teach you before you were 7 or 8 years old. And so that gets back into the ordinary and reasonably personable and prudent person dealing with a particular issue. When it comes to finances or money that's involved, it's best to ask first. If you think there's any question at all, because an awful lot of this not only has to do with financial integrity, but it has to do with the appearance of an impropriety. One thing this commission and the last several that we've had has been so very adamant about is open books and openness of government. And so just if there's anything, any question that ever comes up, it's best to talk it out first. Disclosure, the city manager touched on that. If there's any sort of even questionable stuff, it's best to disclose it from the dais. That almost never means you can't vote on it, but it's just best to lay it up on the table. And there's one other thing that I have wondered about for many years. The list of people that are within your sphere that it could benefit includes grandparents, but not grandchildren. And I never understood that. So you could, evidently you could be technically benefiting with a vote your financial interest of your grandchildren, and you'd be just fine as far as that is. And the last thing I'd leave you with is, and this Martin was talking about violations being dealt with from here, and also for the commission, but also dealt with for employees as a matter of discipline. When any crossing over into financial transactions that might actually directly benefit you can also be a crime. So part of the duties of the ethics officer, this is just information and not any kind of a warning or anything. Part of the duties of the ethics officer might be to involve the attorney general, or the district attorney, I should say. Never come close that I've ever known. And so thank all of you for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you both. All right, moving on to item 3 on our consent agenda, approve authorization to purchase a GyroSight quick view camera for the stormwater division, resolution number 26-1922. Mr. Brill, okay,
That would be me.
come on up.
All right. I'll try and be brief. I know my presentation is 16 slides, but I'm going to fly through
It's a lot of
it.
pictures.
mostly just pictures. So, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys tonight. This is a very cool piece of equipment that I think will greatly improve our stormwater division's operation and efficiency and make my man Davis back here very happy.
All right.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. So this is for a EnviroSight Quick View Air HD camera pole camera. Now that's a mouthful. There is a video here. I don't know if we can play that and skip it ahead for like 30 seconds. So I'll just annotate it to you guys. Basically, so if for under 10-inch diameter pipes, right now what we have is basically a super push camera, which if you can imagine just a piece of rope with a camera on the end of it, that's essentially what we push into the pipe. It just lays on the bottom, and basically, yeah, if you can hit play on that and then skip ahead like halfway into it. So that is about the video that we get to see, or that's about what we can see on our end when we are trying to do a camera inspection for those smaller pipes. So it really doesn't give you a whole lot of great information for that. Let's see here. For a larger pipe, when there is a catch basin, Davis is down in there with a camera and a flashlight, which is well and dandy if there is access. There's not a lot of access in some of our basins. Some of them are extremely deep. Some of them qualify as a confined space, so you have to be permitted to get into it just because of the potential danger of dangerous gases or things like that being down in the basin. Or if it is just a large pipe and there is an open inlet or outlet, Davis is on his stomach again, looking in the pipe, trying to figure out where the issue is. So this is kind of our current approach. There's room for improvement. I think we could all agree on that. So the last approach, this is the phone on a stick approach. And again, there is a video here. We don't have to play it. Yeah, so you can see basically this is the stormwater camera taped to a stick with the flashlight on. And that is what we see. So basically we're getting very superficial footage. This doesn't give us a whole lot of information beyond what is presently basically right at the beginning of the pipe entrance. So essentially, we have room to grow. We have room to improve, and I'm really excited to bring this opportunity to you. We recently, the stormwater team, me, Davis, and Brian went out and actually had the opportunity to utilize this piece of equipment in the field, and I can say 100% that it was phenomenal. It was quick, easy to use. So basically what this gives us is, and I'll show you guys photos and videos of the new camera here in a minute, but it basically gives us significantly higher video and photo resolution. It has the ability to measure offset distances, and offset is where two pipe connections have become disconnected, and that's what can lead to failures in the roadway, sinkholes, things like that. It has quick upload capability to the cloud, so any photos or videos that Davis captures out in the field, I can immediately see it on my end and immediately know what's going on. It complements our ArcGIS mapping initiative, so basically any inspection work that we're doing, he can swap from the iPad that we'll be getting here soon, and you can immediately implement or upload that footage into ArcGIS, and then that is bolstering our just mapping capability moving forward. This does have GPS coordinate integration, so I can actually get last long off of the video and the photos. It's much safer. That's a big thing. I don't like having my team go down into basins that are really small and cramped. It's also, there's some of them that truly you just cannot be in safely. And it's better ergonomics, and it's just quick to set up and tear down. You can have the camera ready to go in under 5 minutes. So here is the camera in question. It's basically just a tripod with a nitrogen-filled head on the bottom of it. The camera has a extendable pole, basically just like a tripod that you would use for a camera, that you can just release additional lengths of it down to 20 feet, I believe, is the one that we have spec'd out, which none of our basins are any deeper than 20 feet. I think our deepest one is on Morrison Springs. So this would be something that would be well suited to looking down into that catch basin or that junction. We met with Luke Vihan from Sansom Equipment on June 22nd, and we met him over at, I believe it was Mason Drive, is that right, Davis? And we looked at 3 different basins there that are ones that we know there are long runs in the pipe that are something that we are just trying to kind of get a better read on where some failure points might be. And so here's basically the setup. You put the pipe down, or you put the camera down first into the pipe, and then you snap on the legs onto the tripod, and then that's what locates it right there above the catch basin. It links wirelessly to the iPad that Davis has in his hands here, and then it's through Wi-Fi, so you can actually get pretty far away from it. You still have access to the video that it's creating. And so here's a video, if you wouldn't mind hitting play on this one. And so this gives you a little bit better idea of the quality of photo and camera footage that we're able to get. So this, you can see here, that is approximately, I believe that we measured that offset, the one that is really being kind of centered right there, was right at 80 feet. And we could actually tell exactly, because this also comes with a laser rangefinder attachment, we can see exactly where the distance is. And we know exactly, like, let's say there's a failure in the roadway, immediately scope out what the distance is, and we know that that's the joint in question that's causing the failure. So that just gives you kind of it gives you the resolution that we're dealing with here. We didn't have the laser rangefinder on at this time. Otherwise, where it says dist NA, that would be where the distance is. So basically what this will give us in the event that you guys approve this purchase is that we have some future projects already lined up in the queue that we can just hit the ground running with. One of them that we're looking at doing is a full inventory of all of the pipes up and down Dayton Boulevard. We need to know where our failure points are, quit being reactive, start being proactive. If we can start doing inspections, we can know exactly where potential offsets are and start getting a priority list ready to go for future projects. Signal Mountain Road, Morrison Springs, those are two other big areas. We know we have deep basins there. I would never ask my guys to get in. Those are ones that if we had this, we can immediately scope them out in 10 minutes so we know what we're dealing with. And inspection of pipes post jetting. So that's usually one of our regular activities. We go out with our fancy jet truck, clean it out. This would be something that we would immediately go with afterwards, capture new footage, and then we can add that into our inspection. And then just pothole inspections as well. If we think there's potential stormwater pipe failure that's leading to a road failure or a sinkhole, this is what we'll use to figure out, okay, where that issue is. This would be purchased through Sansom Equipment. This is going to be through Sourcewell's cooperative purchasing agreement for a total cost with freight of $21,394.02. This was budgeted in the fiscal year 27 stormwater budget on line item 942. You guys have any questions? I know I'm blasting through that. I told you guys I'd be quick, so.
That's great.
Yes.
What's the maintenance of the equipment?
So maintenance is pretty simple. There is, the head of the camera is nitrogen filled, and basically that just keeps water from going in because the head is pressurized. Based on kind of how much we use it and just how much use it gets over time, you'll have to refill the nitrogen in it, and you can just get basically the little nitrogen with like silver tanks and you just fill it up. There is batteries that have to be recharged pretty much daily, and there'll probably be on the actuation point, there's a grease point that we'll have to hit just regularly, but overall maintenance is very simple.
And it's stored at Public Works.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have it locked up. That will be something that most likely will stay inside the office with being that fancy of a piece of equipment that every other stormwater division is going to envy us for. We're going to want to keep that locked up.
And I think that leads me to my next question. Are there other municipalities or places around that have evidence of this use?
Yes, the only one I'm familiar with right now is the city of Chattanooga in our region. And they supposedly they've been getting a lot of good usage out of it. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. I mean, I work in engineering and surveying. Have some direct experience with this sort of stuff.
Nice.
It's a valuable tool.
Yeah.
It's the right tool for the job. So, thumbs up.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Krill.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Right, moving on to item 4 on our consent agenda, authorize the addition of the Corrigo Essentials Build subscription and increase the existing agreement with Corrigo Software Technologies, Inc. amount from $15,000 to $22,000, resolution number 26-1943. Mr. Gravy.
Good evening, Commission. This resolution amends our existing agreement with Argo Software Technologies by adding the Essentials Build module, which will increase the annual subscription amount from $15,000 to $22,000 for the remaining 2 years of the current contract. As a reminder, the city already utilizes Argo Essential Plans to manage our capital improvement program planning process. What we've identified over the past year is a need to carry those projects seamlessly from the planning stage into project delivery and day-to-day management. The Essentials Build module provides that next step. This addition will allow staff to manage project delivery, contracts, budgets, invoices, documents, inspections, reporting, and overall project oversight within the same platform we're already using. Rather than tracking portions of projects through separate spreadsheets, emails, and files, this creates a single system that follows a project from identification and prioritization all the way through completion. I do want to note that this is an additional $7,000 annual cost that was not included in the FY27 budget development process. The need became more apparent following the addition of the capital projects director position that was onboarded on July 1st. And as we continue to expand and manage more capital projects, staff believe this is a necessary investment to improve accountability, transparency, and overall project management efficiency. To cover the additional annual cost, no new revenues are being requested. Instead, the funding will come from existing appropriations of $2,000 from the Parks and Rec Division contract services, $3,000 from State Street Aid, and $2,000 from the Street Division contract services to cover this. So from my understanding, we will need to do a budget amendment since we did not budget for this, but it is not asking for additional funds from this budget. Questions?
Mr. Green, questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Mayor, may I ask a question? Would you speak to the public?
Yes, so on the new software, we will also be able to have a public access portion of the site. So we can share with our community where we are at on different capital projects, whether that is a new park, whether that is a new roadway, low water bridge, new public works facility, et cetera. We will be able to make that accessible to the public so they know where we're at in those points without having to wonder.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 5 on the consent agenda, approve a 4-year agreement with FireCap for annual hose testing for a total amount or total cost of $28,490, with the first year being a cost of $6,290. Resolution number 26-1924. Chief Tyler.
Welcome again, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a 4-year agreement with FireCap. This is for fire hose testing. So every year our fire hose has to be tested per NFPA, ISO, and all these other things. What we don't get is it takes our crews about a week to do this because they'll do 1 truck a day and stuff like this. What this does is this gives us the ability to actually do it correctly, the correct way, and it'll be done in 1 day. So all 18,500 feet of hose will be tested in 1 day of Station 2. The only caveat is we're gonna have to close the bicycle garden for the day because we're gonna have to use the traffic jam, the bicycle garden back there to lay hose out. So.
Approved.
1 day we're gonna have to close the bicycle garden. But it properly tests our new fire hose, most of our new fire hose. It also tests our over hose, actually gets it tested, labeled, and things like it should be that goes along with it and does it correctly. Because it is a dangerous job, and we're actually putting undue wear and tear on our $1 million fire trucks doing it with our trucks instead of using the equipment that's out there to do it. So we budgeted for this this year, and it's budgeted for FY27.
Chief. I noticed in the agreement, it's, I guess, is there like an automatic inflationary increase
Yes.
built in for the 4 years? Because I see that it's, 34 cents per foot, 38 cents per foot in year 2, 40, year 3, and 42 cents.
Yes, ma'am.
In year 4. Okay.
And this is the same company that does the city of Chattanooga's fire hose, and they have way more than 18,500.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you, Chief. Item 6 on our consent agenda, application for the Tennessee American Water Company Firefighters Grant in an amount of up to $1,000. Resolution number 26-1925. Chief Seiler.
So this is the annual grant for fire departments that the Tennessee American Water puts out. This year, we're going to apply, if y'all choose to let us, and we're going to use it to help offset the cost of the 2 new valves that are in our budget. So these are $2,000 a piece. This is what allows the water from their fire hydrants and water system into our trucks to put out a fire. And we're going to use it to help offset the cost of these valves. There's 2. they're $2,000 a piece, so we're gonna spend 4, but we're gonna spend hopefully 3, with getting $1,000 grant.
Any questions about that agenda? All right. Item 7 on the consent agenda, purchase of 2027 F-250 from Ford of Murfreesboro for an amount of $54,746. Resolution number 26-1926. Chief Siler.
This is the replacement of the 2011 F-150 that we have, the fire department had outgrown the need for. It has approximately 100,000 miles on it, and it loves motor oil. And the fleet manager said it's time for it to be replaced. So this will be almost like the 2024 that we have, that we actually purchased in 2022, that's assigned to me. So it's Ford F-250. It's a little heavier duty because we have a 10,000-pound trailer that we sometimes have. Well, we have a 10,000 pound, and then we've got the 6,000-pound trailer with the UTVs on now. So we have 2 trailers that we pull. So a little bit bigger truck gives you the ability to pull them correctly and stop it.
So it will stay at?
No, this one we assigned to the deputy fire chief.
Okay.
So the two chiefs will have the 2 Super Duty trucks.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to item 8 on our consent agenda, purchase 5 police vehicles from Lonnie Powell Ford for a total amount not to exceed $235,000. Resolution number 26-1927. Chief Seymour.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So this is just for a sign off on the vehicles that we budgeted for this year. That's to replace 5 of our patrol vehicles that are to be replaced.
All right. And this is part of a loan, is that right?
Correct. Yes, it'll be part of the capital loan. And I think the fire department's trucks involved in that as well.
All right. Any questions?
So,
Commissioner?
will there be 5 that'll be replaced out on the purchased by other cities or volunteer organizations?
What we normally do is typically, of course, come before the commission, that we're declare those vehicles as surplus, and then we typically go to our online auction so that they're available to whomever. Frankly, the vehicles with the age and the miles on them would not be a good vehicle to stay in public safety. But individuals, they want to, they're making road worthy.
Okay. And those are open to the public, right?
Yes,
The
correct.
auctions are.
Like periodically, probably once a year, the city has, sale that we collect. Public Works has items, fire department, we do, we'll do a sale like that. Typically about once a year.
All right. No other questions? Moving on to item 9 on the consent agenda, purchase of 5 radios from Motorola for the police department for a total price of $26,804. Resolution number 26-1928. Chief Seymour.
This is part of the 5 vehicles. These are update and replace aged radios in these vehicles. So this is also budgeted and part of the line as well.
All right. Any questions about those radios? Okay, Commissioner, go ahead.
The previous radios that were in the replacing vehicles, you stripped those?
There's some vehicles that we don't have radios in. And then there are some that are like 10, 12, 14 years old. So those will be surplus and replaced.
All right. No further questions. Moving on to item 10 on our consent agenda, approve disposal of unclaimed property. Resolution number 26-1929. Chief Seymour.
This has nothing to do with making purchases or part of the loan, so just look that out there. From time to time, we have to clear out unclaimed property, and so this is just coming before you to kind of sign off on that. You have the kind of list of the items. These are non-evidentiary, so they have nothing to do with court or anything. These are items that somebody finds and turns in, or somebody's arrested and we have their bag of clothes and they won't come get it. And so That's what this is, just kind of declaring that. We know the owners and it can be released to them. We try to make contact with those individuals to turn those over. Used to, the state of Tennessee had some law kind of governing unclaimed property, but they since retracted that. It really was part of the Department of Treasury, and they didn't want anything to do with like personal property. So that law was changed a couple of years ago. So currently this is what we do as far as a matter of practice, coming before you all to kind of sign off on that.
So you all destroy some of it. Like I saw there were like purses and, IDs, like license, driver's license.
Honestly, most of it, if not all of it, typically is always
Okay.
destroyed.
Okay.
We don't have any use for any of that.
Right. I noticed also, it looked like, I was guessing, but it looked like there was at least one item from like 2014 on the list.
Sometimes things get hidden or found, or you don't know, or like there are items we find, like somebody's sentenced to go to jail or to prison. And why are we still holding on to this? We need to let them know, hey, you need to come get this, or have somebody come get this. We're not personal storage, so it's that due diligence of trying to contact those owners and making sure that they can get those as well.
Any questions, comments? Oh, Mr. Stoll.
I was very curious about two of the items, a kettle drum. How did we get a kettle drum? And why are we selling a bottle of pills?
Well, we're not gonna sell it yet.
Just
We're gonna destroy it. But I don't know about the kettle drum.
What
There
inquiring minds?
Well, there are times where something may be taken, like for evidence or whatnot, but it's not needed for evidence, or the owner doesn't want it, or don't know who it is, or may have been used in a crime. There's enough to kind of take it temporarily to check it out, and it wasn't. So
Somebody violated the noise ordinance.
it could have been, or somebody wanted to do lessons, I guess, or it could have been someone that was arrested and had it in their possession. The jail doesn't take things like that, but I don't know.
But we wouldn't sell a bottle of pills.
I'm not going to claim property.
And for pills, those are always destroyed.
Yeah, this is a different situation, and this is more unclaimed property. It's not like it is property of the city, to where then we're going to become to then sell, dispose, whatnot. This is just property that just been unclaimed, and we get rid of it.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Chief. All right, moving on to item 11, just on time, citizen comments on items on the work session agenda. Mr. Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time for citizen comments. Please observe these rules. Comments are limited to 2 minutes here in the work session or less, and the city recorder will operate a timer. If time expires, please respect her direction and conclude any comments. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to a particular commissioner or to city staff or to the audience. The commission is here to listen, not to respond or engage in back and forth, so please do not expect a reply during citizen comment. Citizens are now invited to the podium. Please begin by stating your name and address.
All right, if we have no comments, do we have any other business to discuss?
I'd like to make a statement.
Yes, please.
So I would point out that items 6 through 9 are all items that are the beginning of our CIP in progress.
Okay.
Excellent. We worked really hard on getting that stuff into an organized plan to make sure that it's noted that it has begun.
It has begun. Implementation starts today. Love that. Thank you for that comment, Director Perry. Any other comments or business to discuss? Okay. If not, we'll go ahead and adjourn our work session and return at 6 p.m. for our regular meeting.